Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And if we'll move that microphone just a little closer to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If you'll please state your name and spell it for the court reporter.
Tracey Harris, Tracey Harris.
And Mr. Harris, how are you employed?
I am a criminal investigator for the Cobb County District Attorney's Office.
And how long have you been employed by the Cobb County District Attorney's Office?
1 year and about 4 or 5 months.
So like January 2025?
Yes, sir, correct.
Now, what are your job responsibilities as a criminal investigator with the Cobb County District Attorney's Office?
We handle community engagement. Our job is to go out and help the community understand who our office is, who the district attorney is, and all of the services that we provide.
Wonderful. Now, prior to coming to the district attorney's office, how were you employed?
I was an Austell police officer.
And how long were you with them?
2 years.
Now, just kind of roughly, what years were those?
Let's see, I want to say between the years of 2022 to 2024.
Okay. Now, as in what capacity did you work for the Austell Police Department?
A police officer.
Now, what were your job responsibilities as a police officer with the Austell Police Department?
Our job was to serve and protect, patrol the city, enforcing the laws of the city, responding to 911 calls, enforce federal state laws by performing warrants, felonies, misdemeanor arrests, investigate traffic accidents, write citations for those breaking the law by dishonoring traffic laws.
So essentially kind of responding to anything that would come up.
Yes, sir.
All
Correct.
Right. Now, prior to going to the Austell Police Department, were you previously employed by a law enforcement agency?
Yes.
And which one was that?
The Dallas, Georgia Police Department.
And how long did you work with them?
1 year.
All right. Now, prior to becoming a law enforcement officer, what did you do?
I worked over at MARTA as a director, and I owned a couple of small companies, as well as a assistant pastor over at a church in Decatur, Georgia.
Okay. Now, becoming a law enforcement officer, was that sort of a second career?
Yes, sir.
All right. When did you become a police officer?
Became a police officer in May of 2022.
Now, in 2022, is that when you became post-certified?
In 2018, I became post-certified.
I apologize. And what does it mean to be post-certified?
It means that you've gone to the police academy and received all of the credentials necessary to become Leo and to receive arresting powers. You've passed and maintained all of your certifications, etc.
Wonderful. Now, just to kind of zero in, on August the 23rd, 2023, were you employed by the Austell Police Department?
Yes, sir.
And were you actually on duty that day?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you respond to a fire that day?
Yes, sir.
Now, how did you come to respond to a fire?
FTO Hayes was dispatched, who was my sergeant at the time. She was dispatched to a fire call around the Legion Field, I believe that's 5580 Austell Powder Springs Road, and I went as her backup.
And so you responded specifically to that fire?
Yes, sir.
Now, how did you respond? Were you driving your unit?
Yes, sir. I was driving my patrol car. Mm-hmm.
Now, you in particular, what information did you have at that time?
At the time, it was a fire call. We had no other details other than a fire that was taking place at Legion Field.
Now, was there a 911 call that came in?
Yes, sir.
Or 911 calls relating to that fire?
Yes, sir.
All right. At this time, the state moves to enter what's marked as State's Exhibit 5, which is the business record certificate of 4 911 calls, but in particular, Exhibit 6 on the state's master drive of the 911 calls placed as to the brush fire.
Any objection to State's 5?
I don't have an objection to the certificate, and I don't have an objection to the call that he's referenced.
And just to be clear, there are 2 calls in State's Exhibit 6 as to the 911 call, and I'd be moving to tender those in publish.
I just heard the one, but I don't have any problem with the 2 calls regarding the fire.
All right. They're both admitted, State's Exhibit 5, and how are they marked on the master drive again?
So they are marked as State's Exhibit 6. There are two calls. The first call, it says 911 line 1, and then the second call, 911 line 2.
Okay, and those are admitted without objection.
Thank you, Judge. May I publish?
You may.
Now, for the record, I'm starting State's Exhibit Call 1.
17 p.m. 35 seconds.
Also, 911 with that is emergency. There's some smoke coming up behind the woods, just across the bridge there at Eastville. And didn't look like there was anybody around it or anything, but looks like there was smoke. Now, definitely smoke and turn around and look again. Is it in the woods or is it at that factory back there? Not factory. But no, it's in the woods. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm good. Okay, I'll get one away. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. All right, bye-bye.
I'm now publishing State's Exhibit 6, the second 911 call.
18 p.m. 13 seconds.
Also, 911 with that is emergency.
This is Katera Hospital, Potter Springs Road. I'm living next to the river, the creek. And there's water coming out of the woods. I can see it from here.
Oh, okay, got the call. Somebody will call. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, once these 911 calls came in, did you actually drive to that location?
Yes, sir.
What road did you take to get to that location?
Austell Powder Springs Road.
Now, off the top of your head, do you happen to remember, we heard in this last 911 call something about a creek? Do you know the name of that creek?
No, sir, I do not.
I'm going to show you what's marked as, not this one. I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 8. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 8?
Yes, sir.
How do you recognize it?
The streets that are in Austell as well as that creek. Very familiar with the area as I served as police officer there for 2 years.
All right. And is this is it a Google map?
Yes, sir.
And is this the area in which that you responded to that day?
Yes, sir.
At this time, the state moves to enter what's marked as State's Exhibit 8 into evidence.
No objection.
Submitted without objection, State's 8.
May I publish, Judge?
You may.
Now, for the jurors, I would like you to kind of step down and kind of walk us through what your observations were as you were driving to the location of this fire. Here. Remove this.
as I responded, I was actually coming from up this way, Stonewall Road, as well as Austell Powder Springs Road, hit Legion Field right to this area where the fire was taking place.
Now, on that map, can you kind of give a general location as to where you could see that fire?
So, if I'm correct, I want to say this is Legion Field here. It was right down in this area, if I'm correct, if the map is correct.
And I will have you take a seat for me real quick.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
now, as you responded to that area, where could you see the fire?
The fire was coming down below Legion Field. So the call was Legion Field, but it was actually below the bridge. So we had to take that bridge on Austell Powder Springs Road, and we could see fire and smoke coming up from down below the bridge.
Now, we see a bridge right here.
Yes, sir.
Is this the bridge that you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so then down here, do we see Joe Jerkins?
Yes, sir.
And was the body and the car found in between those two roads?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so were you a bit off with your location?
Yes, sir.
All right. Will you come back down here and show us where we were finding the fire?
So Joe Jerkins Boulevard, the fire was in this area here.
So somewhere in this green area?
Yes, sir.
All right. So as you responded, I'm now going to show you what's marked. You can have a seat. I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 9.
Okay.
Now, you mentioned that you drove off Powder Springs Road and you took that bridge, right?
Right.
I'm now going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 9. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 9?
Yes, sir.
And is this a fair and accurate photograph of police response going over that bridge showing the fire?
Correct. Yes, sir.
At this time, the state moves to enter what's marked as State's Exhibit 9 into evidence.
I apologize. Yeah, ask one question. I apologize if you've asked this. Is this a photograph from your vehicle as you saw it that day?
Not my vehicle, however, that is the road that was taken.
Okay. What's shown up here, is this similar to what you observed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
No objection.
Admitted without objection, states 9.
Any further, Judge?
You may.
So going to the map here, I know it's hard to see when it's turned away from you, but here we're talking about this bridge right here.
Correct.
All right. Now in State's Exhibit 9, what do we see here?
We see Austell Powder Springs Road and a shot in the direction that my patrol vehicle was heading.
All right. So this is the road that you took, Austell Powder Springs Road,
Yes, sir.
and then off to the right here, what are we seeing?
We see smoke. That's the area where the fire and car was on fire.
All right. Now, is it hard to see what's on fire down here?
It is, very much so.
Now, once you saw that smoke over there, what did you do?
Our job was to get to that smoke, to that fire, so we tried to find an alternate route that would take us down into the below the bridge area.
All right.
We proceeded behind the houses and the homes, and we found a way in on the back road back there.
Was there some sort of easement?
Yes, sir. There was an easement.
Okay. And so is that kind of the pathway, like a kind of unmarked easement for you to drive back there?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, back in State's Exhibit 8, when you actually responded to that kind of green area in between Joe Jergens and Austell Powder Springs Road, what did you observe?
We observed smoke coming from a vehicle, and there was some fire. However, the fire department quickly they extinguished that fire.
All right. So walk me through, when you got to the easement, how far down this easement did you have to drive to get to that car?
I would say about approximately 400 to 500 feet.
Now, I don't know if you drove down there. Did you?
I did.
Okay. And so you had to drive that distance to get to the car?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you said that you saw smoke, how engulfed was this car?
So as I was passing the bridge, you can see a whole bunch of smoke coming up past the bridge. We literally sped up a bit because we knew something was definitely burning. By the time we got to the actual car behind the easement, it actually found a way in to get to the vehicle. Fire had already extinguished the fire, but of course we could still see smoke. It was pretty engulfed. That fire was pretty bad.
All right. Now, was fire ultimately able to put the fire out?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibits 11 through 42. Do you recognize State's Exhibits 11 through 42?
I do.
How do you recognize them?
This is the actual vehicle that was on fire when we arrived, and this is exactly the scene we saw once we arrived at this location.
So are these fair and accurate photographs of your response to the fire, of the car fire in the greenery?
Yes, sir.
All right. At this time, the state moves to enter what's marked as State's Exhibits 11 through 42.
No objection.
Vetted without objection, states 11 through 42.
Now, before I jump into some of these pictures, after the car was extinguished, did you attempt to identify this vehicle?
Yes, sir.
And based off of the fire damage of the car, was there a license plate visible?
No, sir.
How did y'all go about trying to identify this car?
By finding the VIN number in other locations in the car.
Ultimately, was the VIN number located?
Yes, sir.
And with that VIN number, were you able to identify the registered owner?
Yes, sir.
And who was the registered owner of this vehicle that was on fire?
The registered owner was, let's see here, Beauty and her mother. So it actually came back to a Beauty Katera Couch and Deanna Thurman.
All right. Now, once you were able to identify them, were you able to locate a potential address for them?
Yes, sir.
All right. Before we jump there, I'm going to jump into these pictures. Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 11.
Okay.
And just, is that screen in front of you working?
It is.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, what are we seeing here in State's Exhibit 11?
We see the vehicle that was on fire after it's been extinguished, and one of the firemen, it looks like.
Down here next to the car?
Yes, sir.
Now, just for orientation purposes, you described that there were several hundred feet to get to this location. Would that be directly behind you
Yes, sir.
from this photograph?
Yes, sir.
And then in this photo, we see something right here. What are we seeing here?
That's the bridge that I crossed to get to that location.
Is that the same bridge that we see in State's Exhibit 9?
Yes, sir. Austell Powder Springs Road.
Okay. Now, we see this yellow line here. What is that?
That yellow line may in fact be the hose that they use to put the fire out. It's unclear at this time, or
I'm going to show you just as we kind of flip through the State's Exhibit 12. Now, at what time do we have this photo?
it says 1313.
All right, and for non-military people, what is that?
That's going to be 1:13 p.m.
All right. So now I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 13. What are we seeing in State's Exhibit 13?
A burned vehicle in the brush.
All right. State's Exhibit 14. What do we see here?
Burned vehicle in the brush.
And are these photographs kind of getting closer?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 15. Is that what we see here?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 16. Is that, what do we see here?
A burned vehicle.
And what side of the vehicle do we see here?
Say it again, sir.
What side of the vehicle do we see here?
That seems to be the right side of the vehicle.
All right. I'm now showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 17. What do we see here?
A burned vehicle with firefighters and Sergeant Hayes.
Is this Sergeant Hayes right here?
Yes, sir.
And that your FTO?
Yes, sir.
Now, you mentioned FTO. What does that mean?
Field Training Officer.
Is this somebody that was sort of your superior and teaching you everything?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm now showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 18. Where in the vehicle are we seeing here?
The trunk area, the rear area of the vehicle.
State's Exhibit 19. What about here?
That looks to be the rear door of the right side.
State's Exhibit 20. What do we see here?
That looks to be the front of the vehicle.
State's Exhibit 21.
The front again, outside angle.
State's Exhibit 22. What do we see here?
Very front of the vehicle.
Now, this part of the vehicle, is there anything noticeably different about the front of the vehicle versus the back?
Yes, sir. The color. You can actually see the color, the red color of the vehicle.
Showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 23. Where do we see here?
The front passenger side of the vehicle.
Ultimately, was the interior of this car pretty burnt?
Yes, sir. Demolished.
Were more pictures taken of the interior?
That I'm not certain of. Just the ones you showed me definitely identify.
Right. Now, during your kind of review of the vehicle and trying to identify the VIN, is it protocol for cars to be towed from areas?
Yes, sir.
Can you kind of tell the jury why cars are towed?
So given the place for this particular vehicle, the reason it was towed is because of where it's at, where it was found. The owner, the registered owner, no one was with the vehicle at the time, and that vehicle had no reason to stay there. It's an endangerment to children, others possibly, not to mention the fact that it was on fire. It can also be towed for investigative purposes.
Now, at that time when you were responding to this incident, were you responding for anything other than just this car fire?
No, sir.
Did you have any idea of the registered owner or a daughter missing?
No, sir.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 22, and I think this is a better photograph here. In State's Exhibit 22, what is this that we see in the back here?
That's the tow truck for Henson's Record Services.
No, it's really, I'm going to really zoom in here. I know that's kind of hard to see, a little blurry. But you had mentioned that there was several hundred feet that you had to drive to get to this location. Is that what we see, like way back in that area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so is that the road that you drove in on?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, where was this car taken once it was towed?
That particular vehicle was taken to Henson's Record Services.
All right. And was it actually put on the tow truck and brought there?
Yes, sir.
And I'm showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit. State's Exhibit 41. Is that what we're starting to see in State's Exhibit 41?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then in State's Exhibit 42, is this what it looked like after the car had been moved from that location by the raptor?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, once that investigation of this car and what to do with it, what did you do next?
So Captain Horton, at the time, after the vehicle was removed from the scene, our captain instructed us to go to the location of the registered owner. That location was, I want to say, maybe half a mile, just right around the corner, to see who owned the vehicle, what was going on, and where they were, and try to find out a little more information about the actual fire. Why was the vehicle there? Why was it on fire?
Okay. Now, was that location 2840 Broad Street?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 7. Now showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 7, do you recognize State's Exhibit 7?
Yes, sir, I do.
How do you recognize it?
This is the home, the 2840 Broad Street location that we went to.
And is this a fair and accurate map of that location?
Yes, sir.
At this time, the state moves to enter what's marked as State's Exhibit 7 into evidence.
No objection. No objection.
States. Admitted without objection.
Now showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 7. Now, you said it's the house. I'm going to zoom in real quick. Down in the top left of State's Exhibit 7, is that house that you're talking about?
Yes, sir, that is the house.
All right. And so we talked a little bit of your response. Is this that same bridge that you were talking about?
That is.
And then down here where that red mark is that where the 2840 house is?
Correct.
And so down here, what road do we have here?
Joe Jerkins Boulevard.
So in between this bridge and Joe Jergens, is this kind of the location where you found the car?
That is correct.
All right. Now, did you physically drive to 2840?
Yes, sir, using a patrol vehicle. I was assigned.
And did you make contact with Deanna Thurman?
Yes, we did.
And when you went to Deanna Thurman's home, did you have the location of her daughter, Beauty Couch?
Did I have the location of her daughter?
Correct.
That
Did
home
you know
address?
where she was?
No, sir, we did not. Only thing we had was the registered owner's vehicle address, which was the 2840.
And once you got there, did you find out that Beauty was missing?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. And after finding out that Beauty was missing, what did you do next?
That's when Captain Horton advised us to go back to the scene of the fire to see if we can locate her belongings, or anything.
Now, before we talk about your response to the scene, do you remember around what time you returned back? If you don't, I can refresh you. But
To go back to the location
Right.
of the scene? I do not recall that particular time. No, sir.
all right. Do you remember how you got there?
Yes, sir. My patrol vehicle.
Now, when you returned back there, ultimately was the car gone already?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, walk us through kind of your steps, step by step, of what you were doing when you got back to the easement.
So when we got back to the easement, Sergeant Hayes and I began to go a little deeper into the woods. The goal was we called out her name, Beauty. We called out her name. We made noises, anything we could do to try to get her attention or anyone's attention who was related to that vehicle at the time. So we began to go east, west, north, south there in the brush, which was very, very, very thick. And as we climbed up into a deep part of the woods, we went to the far right, nothing. We continued to call Beauty's name. We got no response, so we had literally ended up at a dead end. So we began to walk back towards our patrol cars, again calling her name out, I believe, and trying to find someone pertaining to this vehicle. And as we were going back to our vehicles, towards our vehicles, Sergeant Hayes, we noticed the body of a female that looked to be deceased at the time behind a very large log.
Now, when you talk about your vehicle, ultimately when you walk back to your vehicles, about how far away did you actually park from the body?
Oh, gosh. 100 to 200 feet, if that. Couldn't be, it had to be less than that even. We were very close.
To where the body was, where your car was parked?
Yes, sir.
When y'all got out of y'all's cars, could you see the body?
No.
And did it take this kind of roundabout searching to find her?
Yes, sir, it did.
All right. When you actually came up onto the to the woman, what else could you see about her?
We can see some smoke coming from her half of her torso was completely covered. The lower torso area, all the way down to her feet, was covered with very large logs, all kind of brush. We noticed the upper torso of her body. She was naked from the waist up. We saw a little smoke coming, some smoke coming from the logs, either the logs or her body.
Okay. Now, when y'all discovered the body, what did you do next?
I was instructed by Sergeant Hayes at the time to immediately go. Well, first we called it in.
Okay.
We called in and we made sure dispatch knew what we found. We also asked that Captain Horton and the others, it's fire as well, EMS be dispatched to the scene. And then I was specifically asked to immediately go and grab some crime scene tape.
And what was the purpose of getting crime scene tape?
To literally lock off that area to make sure that there were no distractions.
Now, around her body, was there anything of notice that caught your attention?
I noticed not only logs, a lot of debris, but a citation of some sort was laying there as well.
Right. And part of that crime scene tape situation is that to preserve the location as best as possible so it isn't disturbed.
It is, yes, sir.
All right. Now, were you equipped with a body camera?
Yes, sir.
And prior to your testimony, did we meet and go over that body camera?
Yes, sir.
And was that a fair and accurate body camera of your response of locating that female in the woods?
Yes, sir.
At this time, the state moves to enter what's marked as State's Exhibit 10 into evidence.
Is that video that you're referring to?
That's the body camera.
I don't have any objection to that.
Voted without objection, states 10.
Thank you, Judge.
While you're pulling that up, I've been alerted that we have a juror that needs a comfort break. So, Jerry, I'm going to give you a comfort break. When we come back, we're going to go for several hours. So please use this opportunity for a comfort break, okay? Thank you. All right, go ahead. Go ahead and have a seat.
Thank you, Judge. At this time, the state will publish State's Exhibit 10.
Ready?
Yes, thank you. And for the record, I'm starting State's Exhibit 10 at 0 seconds. Now I'm going to stop this at 31 seconds and just briefly, so we saw an individual driving a car. Was that you driving the car?
Yes, sir.
Now, this driving the car, was this what you previously testified to about driving 300, 400 feet, whatever it was?
Yes, sir.
To the location.
Correct.
Now, in this paused screen here, can we actually see that same bridge?
Yes, sir.
Is that kind of just, well, I have a pointer somewhere. Okay, thank you. Is that this location right here?
That is correct. On Steel Powder Springs Road.
Now, who is this in front of you?
That is Sergeant Hayes.
Now, is Sergeant Hayes with you through your search?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to proceed with State's Exhibit 10.
Right.
Now, pausing once again at 1 minute. Now, saw like an embankment kind of downhill right here in the video.
Yes, sir.
Is that where the car was?
Yes.
All right. And so where you're about to walk, is that where the burnt car was before it was being removed?
Yes.
Now proceeding with State's Exhibit 10.
Anything? Trash. Anything? Hey, is anything? I'm looking over this way. Okay. Nothing over in there. No, not even a walk path where somebody has come through here. Wow. Yep, backed up.
for the jury, can you kind of describe this kind of area? Was this a frequented area by a lot of people?
No, sir.
No, we do see some items throughout the woods. Was there trash kind of littered throughout?
Yes, sir.
Now, as you kind of walked through, were you able to kind of determine whether trash was old or new or anything like that?
No.
Based off of kind of weathering of any of these items, could you determine whether or not they were relevant in this case?
No, sir.
I'm going to continue at 5 minutes and 57 seconds.
Should have called yesterday. Huh? Yeah.
Oh, we got the car.
Yep. Which is good.
No, I just want to direct the jurors to attention here. Stopping the video at 6 minutes and 49 seconds. Here in front of Sergeant Hayes, what do we see right here? Sorry, I know you can't really see from over there.
Come on around and see which point you're on. Sorry.
These items here.
Oh, our patrol cars.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And so, and is that where both of y'all's patrol cars are parked?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you can have a seat.
Okay.
Now, resuming the video.
Oh, shit. Hey, Captain. Hey, yeah. Come to the way the cars are.
Now, for the jurors, I know you have the screen in front of you. What just happened?
This is when we located the female body.
Now, approximately how far away are y'all from the body at this moment?
I want to say about 75 feet.
And are the jurors kind of looking toward that logish, kind of that larger log in the middle?
Yes, sir.
Now, at what time is Sergeant Hayes, I guess, putting this notification out?
I want to say 1441.
And for those non-military people?
That's 12:41 p.m. 2:41.
Here it is. All right. All right, I'm going to resume the video.
Thank you.
Exactly where the cars are, come in between the back of yours and in front of my truck. We got a signal 48 female. Radio, make sure detectives are aware of that.
Just for the jurors, I'm pausing it once again, and I apologize. If you can kind of step forward.
Yes.
A little bit. Now, in this area here, where in particular are we looking, and where is the body located?
Right here.
Okay. So that tree log, is that?
Yes, sir. The body is right here on the other side of the tree log.
Now, with the cars, how close is the body from the cars?
Oof. At least 100 feet, if that.
Okay. Now, from those cars that we can see kind of through the trees here, could the body be seen?
No, sir.
And what prevented you from being able to see the body from where you parked your car?
All of the brush, the trees, the logs.
All right, perfect. Have a seat for me. Now resuming the video at 7 minutes and 28 seconds.
Go see if you got crime scene tape.
Yes.
Go get called.
Okay.
car now.
We have to, look it up. She seems to be smoking as well. Respond to the last area reference to the amount found on the appears 48, I'm not sure. Here's your one radio. Where in there you'll respond back and show us the ground.
Got it. Yes, sir.
Hang on, what's the best way for them to get there? Right here, if you could explain location for the vehicle, okay?
You go ahead. We backing up?
Right, I'm gonna fuck it.
Okay.
Over right where your car was, behind mine, it's right there again, directly into the line. Radio self-bucket, come down Road Jerkins, past Lander Street, keep going until you see the power lines. There's one radio, you show us on safe video, PG? Yeah. Yeah, but confirm you're on scene. Radio 78. Yeah.
How about right here, Alex?
Tie it to my truck.
Your truck?
And then
Go ahead. Here's your one radio. Here's your one. This is going to be 48.
Yes. I don't mind. Okay. All right.
Temple will be transferred. Temple.
I'm gonna go ahead and drop it. Let me,
it's just so hot out. I don't want nothing igniting and evidence being lost.
No, we definitely make sure.
Still got those 3-1. Hostile fire.
Hey, grab it.
You cancel
Just grab
fire.
the water can just in case. We'll keep it on standby. Yep.
Perfectly 31.
Now, pausing the video at 12:44, see a cell phone, is that your cell phone?
That's the work cell phone, yes, sir.
And so you seem to be taking a picture of something and you reference the citation. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, that's the citation laying on the ground.
And were you just kind of taking a preliminary photograph of it?
Yes, sir. Everything in the area.
Well, I apologize, I've messed up.
Yep.
And then from where can we see that citation kind of right there at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
And do we see that same log that we pointed out earlier?
Correct, yes.
And then behind that log, what are we seeing?
The dead body of a female.
And we see a lot of sticks and stuff. Is that what you kind of mentioned that she was being covered with?
Yes, sir.
And no, from Austell Bridge, could you see this?
No.
From the Austell Bridge, what was the only thing that could be seen of this entire two locations of the car and this body?
Probably just the smoke and fire coming from the car.
From that road, could you even tell that it was a car that was on fire or that the wood
No,
was on
sir.
fire?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm going to proceed with the video.
So, this is very recent. Because all this is dry, and that's the only thing that's burning.
8101 ready to submit that to a director.
Yes, sir.
Johnny radio, when you're not finished, start call crime scene. All right, in the medical center.
Right. I'm stopping the video at 13 minutes and 20 seconds. So at this point, has, I guess, supervisors and, I guess, dispatch been notified of this, this body?
Yes, sir.
And at what point do detectives get involved?
Very shortly. The detective has been called. He's actually en route at this time.
All right. And at what point does the medical examiner's office or the coroner's office get involved?
Just a little bit later, I would say within the next 10 to 15 minutes.
And in your experience, would the coroner's office and the medical examiner's office, they have their own type of trucks and vehicles?
Yes, sir.
And are those labeled vehicles just like cop cars?
Yes, sir.
However, with, I guess, medical examiner's office on it?
Correct.
All right. And at this time, at the end of this video, what time is it based off the body count?
14:47. That's 2:47 p.m.
Let me ask you just kind of a clarification question. When dispatch is notified of a situation like this, you indicated that the ME's office or the coroners would be notified within 15 minutes or so?
Not necessarily 15 minutes. They'll probably arrive. They said they were on their way.
Okay.
They had been called dispatch just as the detectives and everyone else.
And so how much longer did you stay on the scene?
Several hours.
All right. And did you, what was the purpose of you staying on the scene?
So after I left this immediate scene, I was asked to begin a crime log and begin logging everyone that literally came to that scene at that time. And then I was asked to push to the perimeter because news media had been informed and we wanted to kind of preserve the area. So I maintained the area, keeping anyone from coming in there except for law enforcement and emergency vehicles.
Now, based off of that, you kind of having some understanding as to who is coming and going, about how long did it take for detectives to kind of arrive here?
Say within, the call went out, he was there within 3 to 5 minutes, if that.
Okay. And then what about the medical examiners and coroners, if you remember?
Off the top of my head, maybe another 10, 15 minutes, somewhere in there.
Okay, perfect. outside of that, any additional involvement in this case?
No, sir.
Nothing further. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Your witness.
Officer Harris, I didn't get I know it's not your rank now, at the time, would you be officer, detective, what would we call you?
Patrol officer.
Patrol officer, okay. If I just call you Officer Harris, would that be okay?
That'll be fine, sir.
Or Mr. Harris, maybe better.
Yes, sir. That's fine.
With the DA's office. So, as y'all were walking through the brush here, this is August. It's a typical, very hot, sweaty sort of day being out there looking at this area. Is that correct?
Correct.
And as y'all drove up the area from the road, driving down all the way down to this, where the car was, you indicated 400 or 500 feet. Is that a paved, well, there's not a paved road there, correct?
Correct.
Is there even, it's a gravel road or something that looks like it's been cut out as a road at all in that area?
It's a grass road.
Okay. So it's like
Grass area.
It's a field. Right?
Yes, correct.
And there's power lines that go through it, so it's kind of clear where the power lines come through. So that's why you've got the wooded area around it. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And so as y'all got out of your cars going back to look to see if you can find something, were you looking to see if you could see some indication of a path or a direction of travel somebody might have gone from that car?
Yes, sir.
Because your purpose was to see if you could find Miss Beauty Couch, who was now missing.
Correct.
And you didn't see anything obvious to you as you were looking around there as to a path someone may have already taken.
Correct.
And I think as you're following with FTO Hayes, that you would make a comment, well, there's not even a walk path, suggesting maybe some recently moved brush or something in case somebody just walked through there.
Not in the area we were at the time. Correct.
Very good. And so the closest distance between where the body was found and where your cars were, behind where the burned car would have been, you did not see any indication of some knockdown brush or anything to indicate someone had recently been in that area.
No, sir.
At some point in time, as you're going out there looking, were you looking for maybe any indication of blood or other items that might be indicative of where Miss Couch would have been?
At that time, we were just simply looking for Miss Beauty Couch or anyone pertaining to that vehicle.
Fair.
Thought they may have been walking or something.
Gotcha. Okay. And I think we see a little bit in the video there, after y'all have found the body and you go back to get the crime scene tape, you take the more direct route through the brush to get to your car.
Correct.
And that's maybe hilly's not the right word, but it's not level terrain getting through there, correct?
Correct.
And you smartly put on your gloves to kind of keep yourself from getting scraped and scratched, getting through all that stuff.
Correct.
Did you take part in doing any further searching in that area to see if there was any blood evidence or other indication of a direction of travel?
No, sir.
But the bottom line is you certainly didn't see any from your vantage point as you were looking at it that day.
Correct.
Did you see anything at all that indicated to you something heavy had been dragged through the ground?
No, sir. Couldn't tell at that time.
And other than the area where the car had been and was burned, and then where you ultimately found the body, in between those two areas, any indication of any sort of burned items or anything of that nature?
No, sir.
Do you recall anything suggesting, well, did you even smell anything that smelled like gasoline as you were on the scene that day?
No, sir.
And so as you were walking around the area, you didn't smell that anywhere else either, you would have noted that?
No, sir.
All right. And if I understand correctly, you didn't take part in any of the recovery of the body or removal of the body that day?
Correct, sir.
All right. And you said you were out there for several hours. were you one of the officers that went to Ms. Thurman's house and spoke to her initially?
Yes.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
And at the point in time that you indicated, or you had been informed from Ms. Thurman about there being a boyfriend involved, did that cause you any concern or thinking about this investigation as which direction it might go?
No, sir.
At that point in time, you don't really know anything other than we got Beauty missing at that
Correct.
Gotcha. Do you recall on the scene, not long after y'all have found the body and looking at the citation, do you recall being able to get a name of a person off the citation? At that
No, sir.
Okay. And you didn't take part in covering it at all. You just
No, sir.
You saw it and left. Okay. Do you recall at what point in time you began being part of a discussion with FTO Hayes and maybe others about the suspect in this case?
I do not.
Okay. You don't recall that happening soon thereafter as y'all were back up near the road there on the location?
Answer you, give me your question again.
Sure. Trying to, a point in time in which there's a discussion had that you were a part of specifically of there being a suspect in this case.
No suspect, because we were just informed that she was probably with her boyfriend or what have you. But yeah, his name was mentioned, but not a suspect at the time.
You recall telling, let's see, your body camera continued to function that day, correct?
Yes, sir.
And beyond this video, there are other videos that capture different periods of time as y'all are doing your work down that day, correct?
Correct.
And you recall at some point in time, you and FTO Hayes talking about having found the body and FTO Hayes having been involved with the second body that had been found in Austell that year. Does that ring a bell at all with you?
I don't recall that.
And do you indicate at all some discussion about having a possible suspect and then a name of a suspect? Does that come to your mind at all?
Don't recall at this time. No, sir.
And after you finished that day, I take it you didn't have any further specific obligations in this investigation?
No, sir. It was turned over to cop.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Nothing further.
May this witness be excused?
Yes, sir.
Anything from you, Mr. Lumpkin?
No objection.
All right, you are excused, released from your subpoena. Please watch your head as you step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.